It's time for Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore. A Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. Brought to you by Joe Lunghammer Chevrolet of Waterford. Plan your next vehicle purchase or get your credit rolling in the right direction with Regina today. And now, Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore.
Good morning, good morning. You listen to Be in the Driver's Seat, and I am Regina Eileen Wood, a.k.a. the Queen of Car Loans.
Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. T. Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday. It's Mr. Trust the Process. How y'all doing this Saturday, this beautiful morning? What's up, ladies? How y'all doing?
Mr. Trust the Process is back in the house.
Man, so good
this morning, Saturday morning.
Yes.
Listen, he only here for a minute because he getting married today.
He's getting married
today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's give a shout out to the wife. You know, she allowed you to step in the studio real quick this morning to be with us.
I appreciate it, Son. Thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, you know she in the driver's seat. That's why she allowed.
That's what
she in the driver's seat.
She is really in the driver's seat. Yes, she
really
is.
And I'm going too.
Yeah.
And I'm going. I'm on the passenger side, ready. Let's go.
You ready?
Ready.
Let's go. Okay. Well, let's go.
You stay ready. You ain't gotta get ready.
Ooh.
Let's get it.
You guys are like doing it together. Right, this morning.
You know
right?
what?
We on one accord.
Like
all three of us working.
I love it.
Yeah.
But you know, the word of today, Dr. T came up with last Friday.
Okay.
Was yesterday, is growth.
Ooh.
You know, when I think about growth, when it comes to the car business, right? I think about when you look to get your first car. And maybe that might not be the car that you want, right? But that's a car that you can afford at this particular time. So you get that car to get you to A to B, and then you step up and you get to your next car. So to me, that's growth. Whether you lease that first car for 2 or 3 years, or you finance that car, and then you trade it in. That's growth. Yeah. Growth is also knowing that you can't get everything you want at the first time, the first try. I remember when I went to go buy my first house, and I told the mortgage person that I wanted to be in this $300,000 house. And guess how much was my first loan amount? $76,000. What was I thinking? You know, and you know why I was thinking that way? Because I wasn't thinking with anybody that could help me make decisions, because I did it behind my daddy's back, right? My parents' back. And the growth is that I had to realize you got to start at A before you get to B or before you get to C. So that's my vision on growth. Yeah. You guys know I always got to put growth back to the car business. Yeah. So Dr. T, what do you think about growth?
So when I think about growth as a therapist, it's like me watching my client go from a caterpillar to a butterfly, right? And so we sit in the office, we come up with tools together, and they're actually putting the work in. So I'm watching them as they morph in front of me. So they may have come in one way, but I see them leaving another way. Ooh. I see them putting the tools to use. I see them, when they first came in, maybe they were going through some depression and anxiety, and now they're able to manage it. So to me, it's watching the transformation happen.
So you're saying, I know we got to move on, but I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay,
go ahead.
So when I think about you saying going from a butterfly,
from a caterpillar
to a butterfly,
yeah.
So you're giving them the tools,
yeah.
so that eventually they can deal with that in life.
Yeah, they can take the tools that they're being equipped with. They can take these tools and use them every day. And if they use them, tools are effective, right?
Yes.
And so as long as they use the tool, they'll be effective. Like the tool's going to work. And if they put the work in, anything you put work into something will come out of it, right?
Will multiply.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Man, growth, I see it in 3 phases, right? In both education and both in law enforcement, being consistent. Growth allows me to see consistency, right? The consistency of what people have done to see themselves evolve. And then there's a time through growth that you're going to have to keep pressing yourself through the change, right? That you're going to want to go back to what's comfortable. But growth is pressing through the change. And then the last part of it is just being grateful, right? Acknowledging where you have come from, and understanding that, hey, that was then, but like you said, we're going to move on to now.
Yeah.
And so growth is being grateful in the opportunities that you've had, and being grateful for the opportunities that you have, and that's forthcoming. Because in all of it, and we said it in the consistency, right? Making sure that we're putting ourselves in that space where we're continuously to be patient, allowing our consistency to be the energy that drives the growth. And so, growth in itself is very powerful, but it allows me to actually keep a good balance between both.
So I want to talk about the education piece. I mean, let's drill right into the education piece. What do you think about the education piece that Gill said? What are your thoughts, Dr. T?
Oh, I love it. I mean, so in terms of education, just watching even students, I'm pretty sure like there's a lot of wonderful things going on in the city of Pontiac right now, and other surrounding cities as well. But the actual programs that are coming into the schools now, the children are grabbing hold of those, and you're seeing our children even morph, if you will. Yeah. And so I see these individuals bringing these programs into the city, and the students are able to take those programs and make them work for them. Yeah. So we're no longer seeing a student who it may be as rebellious or may not want to I don't want to say obey, but may not want to follow the norm, right? Oh, yeah. And so now this student is being introduced to new things that will help challenge them and to actually give them skills so that they can move forward in life.
So do you think that the change is because of, Gill, this is to you, because you wear so many hats, right? Do you think a lot of the change now is because of administration? And because I just see so much growth in the last 3 years with the Pontiac School District, with education, on the school board. I mean, it's just so much growth, and it's for the best. It's for the better.
And I appreciate that. I think it's changing the culture. Like, we had to change the culture, and we had to start telling our own story. Like, we had allowed for so many years for people to dictate or tell what they thought they knew about us. And so one of the things when I came back was, how do we change that culture? And in leadership, sometimes you got to take it head on. And so I started in the middle of meetings, before we start a meeting, actually, before we get to the business of the board, we acknowledge the children and the students and staff that are doing something in the district. So that set the tone for us.
So I'm going to cut you off, because for everybody that really don't know Gill, tell them what your title is, what you do, because we know what you do, but our audience, they don't know exactly what you do. Like, they know Dr. T is Dr. T, they know she's a therapist. She's my therapist.
She owe me a couple of dollars.
But they don't know exactly what what you do.
So currently sitting as the president of the Pontiac School Board, but then also I sit as a national director for the National Association of School Boards, and then I'm the president of Council of Urban Boards of Education. So we cover about 43 states, over 2.5 million students, 120,000 school board members across the country, and we basically advocate for urban education, rural education throughout these significant districts and across the states, right? So we find the best practices, and then we go out and we share them amongst other colleagues, other board members, so they can better govern their school district and their children. The other opposite end of that is Pontiac in itself this is my 25th year in education there. So I started out as a substitute teacher, but then I was a police officer as well. And so I understood that I was seeing some of my kids, when I didn't get it right in the education system, now they didn't, I would see them as a police officer. And so I chose to do the governance side of education, keeping in tune with law enforcement. Never what I thought that they would match up now in the era that we're in right now. And so it's a very powerful time in both education and law enforcement. I'm grateful for the opportunity to lead in both, but it's the time and the space so our kids be allowed to see what true advocacy for them looks like. And kids had 2 years of pandemic. that they had to go through to be virtual learners. And with everything that's happened as far as school violence in schools, these kids had to grow up really, really fast, right? And so they came out of it as grown adults, 16, 15 years old, experiencing things that you would experience after college. And so education and actually teaching them or instructing them. So we had to get a teacher in front of them that could speak to them in their language, right? Either you're an auditory learner or a visual learner. So how do we do that? So we started adding more technology and building upon that. So just leading a cause that I think I'm standing on some great shoulders. I'm not the first one to do it, but I thank God for the opportunity that we have right now to be able to do what we're doing for our students.
Yeah, you know what? I want to take a moment just to shout out all the students that literally went through the pandemic.
Man, for sure.
They were on the
Yes.
computer.
Sure.
They had to
Yes.
spend hours in front of a computer.
Yes.
A lot of those students missed out on their prom, graduation,
Yeah.
a lot of pivotal moments. And so we salute you today. Thank you for
Salute, for
staying
real.
in the game, because a
Yes.
lot of people didn't do well. But for those of you that stayed in the game, we salute you today. Great job.
Great job.
So Gill, that was phenomenal. So Regina, I want to kick this question back to you. Well, this statement back to you. You do some work with the Pontiac School Board too. You and Joe Longhammer. So let's kind of talk about the lenses you look through working with the school board.
Well, you know what? Thanks for pointing that out. I work for Joe Longhammer, who owns Joe Longhammer Chevrolet in Waterford, Michigan, and he has a partnership, or we have a partnership with the Pontiac School District, Superintendent Kelly Williams and her staff. I think it was in 2014, 2015, where Superintendent Kelly Williams brought the idea to Joe Longhammer of, giving a car away for the kid who had the perfect attendance. And it ended up being, a car doesn't go to the kid, it goes to the family.
Yes.
And so that was done, I want to say, maybe about 3 years. And after 3 years, Joe made this decision that, hey, you know what, I want to open it up to more students. I don't want it just to be one family. So he came up with the idea, you know what, he's going to give $500 away to up to $10,000 to so many kids. And then he took it down, it was $1,000 to $10,000
Yes,
per
10
family.
families.
Yes,
Okay.
10 families. Then he took it down to 500. And the reason he took it down to 500 was because he wanted to have more kids, give more kids love. And so that has grown to be able to celebrate, salute the kids that are going to school instead of making it so broad. And another thing, what we started in September, and we'll give a shout out to Heidi too. I can't think of Heidi's name. She's actually
Headquest. She's the head of our communications.
what's her
Heidi
title?
Headquest.
Headquest, yes.
Yep.
Shout out to Heidi too, Headquest, because me and her, we're like buds now, because I keep Joe Longhammer on his schedule to go. We go into the schools once a month, and we celebrate a teacher, and we celebrate a student, and we give a gift card. And the principal of the school actually, they pick that teacher and that student. And we celebrate them every month. We also, this is our second year that went into the schools, and Joe reads to the kids.
Yeah.
So that's
phenomenal.
strong.
Man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That is so powerful for us. And that's kind of how I look at partnerships.
Yeah.
So as a leader of the Pontiac School District School Board, when we had to reevaluate what partnership looked like. So Joe Longhammer for many years, and just what Regina has done just in her community, the way that they give back is how I measured how we wanted to see partners. Because sometimes in a lot of in districts, urban districts like Pontiac, people are just coming because we have a significant amount of dollars, right, that come in. Very rarely you get partners that come in like a Joe Longhammer, Regina, to come in and say, we're just going to spend some time with you. Not just going to give money, we're going to spend time with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I understand like GM follows that same suit. And so that's when we started branding, say, hey, listen, we want partners to come in that's invested in our kids. And it's not just about what they're going to be able to get, because in return, what happens? It's a powerful impact on the student, because they get to see people who come in, who care about them, teachers who was feeling underappreciated, like thinking the amount of things that they've had to go through in the last 3.5 years, changing how they, had to do what their format is. But I appreciate your partnership, and I appreciate having you and being that example for other partners to come through that. When we talk about partnerships, look at what Joe Longhammer and Regina, Queen of Car Loans, is doing, and that will give you the perfect example of what we're looking for as far as the partnership is concerned.
So shout out to Joe Longhammer from Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Thank you, sir, for being a partner with the Pontiac School District and for all the work you do in the community.
And thank you for being a huge sponsor of Be in the Driver's Seat. We'll be right back. And I did get that text from Joe that said, Joe said, can I hear some of my commercials on the break? And I said, yes, sir. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, service manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule a next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Looking to buy or sell your home? Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or another country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda D. Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate is your locally known home purchase expert. Buying or selling your home is a complex process. Let Brenda simplify it every step of the way. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Call 248-909-9711 and get moving on your new home purchase or sale today. That's 248-909-9711. Call now.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals do you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back and you're still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. Dr. T and Mr. Trust the Process. I'm super excited about this segment right here that we have every month. Young, Destined for Success segment.
Yes. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah. We got some action today.
Come on.
I'm excited about this interview, though.
Me too.
I've been dying to ask this lady a couple questions about, just her whole startup. So, yeah, yeah.
But this segment is really not our segment.
That's
This is,
right.
we're
It's
sharing
not.
this segment this month because we do this every month. We share it with
Makenzie Lee. Come on. Makenzie Lee.
Good morning,
Come on.
everybody. Happy
Ford.
Saturday.
Don't that sound just
That was
rich?
like-
Makenzie Lee. You know
Y'all
what
like
I'm
how I
saying?
threw that in there, right? Y'all like that,
Put your
don't y'all?
millionaire name in the atmosphere.
Come on here.
Come on now, come through,
Come on,
come
future
through.
millionaire. Come on.
Come through. I always say we got to give it back to your parents. We got to give it back to them because without them, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be our little niece.
Come on
Shout
here.
out to the parents. That's
Shout
what's
out.
Yeah, shout out to Tanoa and Norman Ford.
Hey, you know what?
Wait,
That's
to
what's
know
up.
who?
Tanoa Stevens Flagler. Let me correct.
Oh, you better correct it. You
that.
better
And
correct
Norman
that.
Ford.
You better give your mom her dues because she is remarried. She is a newly wed.
Yes. Come on. Shout out to the parentals today.
So yes, we have on here. We're joining us this morning is Kimberly Hardiman, who told us her age before we started. We was like, no, you 20 or 21. She was like, I got a 22-year-old. We was like, girl, come on, fountain of youth.
She found
Come
it.
here, come through.
She found it.
Yeah.
She found it.
So good morning, Kimberly.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, you guys.
All right. So let's get started. Y'all ready to get started?
Yes.
Yes. So come on here. So
Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and how you got started in Sassy Chic? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Designs.
Sassy Chic, yeah. Well, I am a mother first. I have 3 beautiful children, Kevin, Kyla, and London. I'm also a real estate agent. Most people don't know that because my jewelry has taken over for me. I'm an outgoing individual who love to have fun and family oriented. So that's a little bit about me. Sassy Chic is an inspirational women's jewelry brand who caters to women of all walks of life who are, going through I mean, really anything, like who need to be encouraged, inspired. Yes, anyone who loves like simple jewelry that has a meaning behind it, statements. I have most of my pieces say empowering words like fearless, bold, powerful. I do have a Proverbs 31 for the virtuous woman. Just uplifting, fashionable jewelry. Yep.
Oh, that's good. I love inspiration, right? And so one of the things that you said was Proverbs 31. Everybody talks about the Proverbs 31 woman, but I'm interested in finding out, how did you come up with Sassy Chic Designs? How did that even come about?
Okay, so that is a sensitive part in my life. I was in between jobs. I had just had my daughter. She was a preemie, and I couldn't leave to go work. So my boyfriend had to be the breadwinner. Every time I got a job, I had to lose it because my daughter would get ill. And again, she was a preemie. So because I wasn't the breadwinner, I had to stay home. And I remember there was a really good job I had just got with Volkswagen, and I think it was like $19.20 an hour, and this was in 2016 or something like that. And the job, I was like, oh, this is great. This is good pay. It was full time, benefits, everything. And then my daughter got sick, and then my other daughter, she couldn't get back and forth to school. And again, my boyfriend was the breadwinner, so someone had to be without the job to make sure everything stood up at home, and that was me. So I had to end up losing my job. And I remember I was so sad. He took the kids to the park, and I sat in my room on the bed, and I was crying, like I was just one of those angry cries, you know what I mean? Like you just questioning everything. Like
that was one of the ugly ones,
yeah,
right?
It was ugly.
It was
Snot and everything.
Cry.
It was ugly. Like I was like, but it just came from the heart. I felt it. It was so strong. And I remember asking God, like, what do I do? Like, what am I supposed to do, God? And like I heard an audible voice from my left side that said, make jewelry. And remember, I'm the only one in the house. I'm sitting on my bed, and it startled me. That's how loud the words were. And I was like, what? Like, I questioned that. Like, did I really hear that? And I just started looking around like, no, this is not real. So the very next day, well, actually, back it up, that right after that, I looked on YouTube, like, make jewelry. I don't even know how to make jewelry. I never made any type of jewelry before in my life. Besides those little beaded ones when you like friendship bracelets or something like that, that's different. That was like in elementary. So the very next day I went to Michael's, and I just started buying supplies, not knowing what the supplies were, not knowing if I was getting the right supplies. I just started putting stuff in the basket, and I went home. I got a picture of when I just put everything on the table, and I took a picture of it, and I say, here goes nothing. And then I just started creating, and then I started uploading it to Facebook, and people started asking about it. And I was like, what? Asking, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I just created. I don't know. So that's how it started.
Well, that's good, Kimmy. That's like a powerful backstory to hear, and that's, that message can get out to different, young mothers and older mothers and stuff like that. So I do want to ask you, what's the message that you want your pieces to convey? Like, what's the meaning behind it?
Okay, well, the meaning behind it is, for me, is the words alone. I want people, women, mostly women, because this is where I was, a dark place. I didn't know my worth. I was struggling with a lot, questioning a lot, and my jewelry was just to signify that I am everything that I put in my jewelry. The words are powerful. I am powerful. If I remember who God created, if I remember what he has instilled in me. I am powerful. I am strong. I am brave. These words are not just for me, but everyone, every woman, man or woman. I'm not gonna, keep men out the box, but my brand is because I was a young mother at 16. I didn't know how to love myself, but I feel like my brand is going to show other women just by looking at my bracelet. The words alone can remind us who we are. It could be a constant reminder of who we are. If we're having a bad day, you can look down at your bracelet and see that it says powerful, and you can say, okay, this is right. I am powerful. It kind of just shifts your mindset even on a horrible day. And that's what it does for me. So me just saying this isn't just words. This is how I feel when I wear my pieces.
Got a couple, just a quick question for you. And that's a very powerful statement. And I like the fact that you put in there, it's not gender specific. You want us to be powerful and want people to identify with your jewelry in that space. I know I started noticing you about 5 years ago, but you said in 2019. What's the significance about saying 2019 is when you kind of hit the scene with that?
Oh, I love that question. Okay, so when I started making my pieces, again, it was just because God told me to make them, right? I didn't know the plan. I didn't know the vision. I just was making jewelry. But then somebody asked me if I've ever been in because I needed funding for my supplies, right? Then somebody asked me, have I ever been in like a cohort or like a pitch contest or whatever? And I was like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, let me look into this. So I went online and I found, they're called Cornbread Hustle, and they're based in Texas. And they only work with felons who get released from prison and need to be basically the fundamentals of how to become an entrepreneur and get back into everyday life, like I guess daily calendar flow of, as opposed to being in prison. So even though I know I wasn't in prison, I reached out to them and I emailed them and asked if I could be part of their entrepreneur program. And they said, yeah. This was the first time they were coming to Michigan, Pontiac, exactly. They were coming to Pontiac. It was the first time ever. When we started, the program was probably 13 of us in the program. Everybody else dropped out. But then I was the last one here in Pontiac. They did the same thing in Texas. They were having the same entrepreneur program in Texas. But I didn't know that after you complete this program, they put you in a pitch competition. And after the pitch competition, who wins, you get money and assistance or whatever to grow your business. So they flew me to Texas, and in front of other millionaires, Mark Cuban's brother, I forgot his name. It was me and probably 10 other business owners, and we all pitched our business to win the monetary gifts and the help, and I won. Woo-hoo. So out of everyone, I was the one.
Congratulations.
So that's thank you. So that 2019 is why it's so special to me, because that's how I remember. Okay, now I can license my business. This is really a thing. You know what I mean? That was God showing me okay, I told you what to do. Here it is. And I must show you these breadcrumbs of how great it can be. Now make it legit. And I did that.
Well, amen, Kimmy. Amen. I just love hearing your story and the background of it. And it's just so amazing to me. And I was just reading over your bio, and I see that you stated that we don't have to let life happen to you. Can you explain to the listeners what you mean by that? Because I'm curious to know.
Okay. Well, I know that a lot of people go through life just allowing life to happen. And we have a choice. We have a daily choice to wake up and choose how we're going to respond to life, even through the struggles of life. It's all about how we receive it and how we operate after receiving it. So with my pieces, if I look down at my piece and I'm having a hard day, I can choose to be fearless. I can choose to be strong. I can choose to be powerful. I don't have to let the day happen to me. So that's what that means for me.
That is so good. That is so good, Kimmy. So can you tell the listeners how we can reach you? Phone number, social media, email, all of those good things.
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Sassy Chic Designs, LLC. And then also my website is 2sassychic.com. And if you want to just me personally, on Facebook, I'm Kimmy Hardiman.
Yeah. Repeat that again one more time, Kimmy.
Okay. Facebook and Instagram, Sassy Chic Designs, LLC. And then on my website is Sassy Chic Design, let me take that out. 2sassychic.com is my website. And then me personally, my personal page is Kimmy Hardiman, Kimmy with a Y, Kymmie Hardiman, on Facebook.
So listen, you all heard it here. We had Kimberly Hardiman in the building, Sassy Chic Designs. You all know how to reach her. So if you all are looking for some inspirational pieces, she is the one you want to contact. And she has some fabulous pieces on today. And so I can tell you by sitting next to her, I am encouraged. So you all heard it here. Thank you so much, Kimmy, for joining us today. We'll be glad to have you back soon. So
don't say that. Y'all not getting rid of me now.
See, when they get in the driver's seat, they become family. So we'll be right back after we take this break.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule the next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet. Find new roads.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back and you're still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. And if you forgot, I am still Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
And I'm the one who had an energy drink today.
And well, you know, we gotta blame that on. I can't even get out. We gotta blame that on Lexus Lawrence. I Am Beauty.
Yeah, Lexus, I gotta talk to you.
That beat up your face this morning.
Yeah. Lexus, I love you. Thank you.
She gave you an energy drink, but you know what? Hey, let's skip. What happened yesterday? What happened last week? I'm sorry. What happened last Sunday?
So this past Sunday, one of the millennials that's on the move that's on here, Sierra Warren.
The Master Baker.
She's the Master Baker.
The owner of Delicious Sweets. Look at me.
Bake
jumping
shop in Saginaw. So Delvon Crudup proposed to Sierra Warren. So congratulations, CC.
Let's go.
It was a beautiful engagement, and I caught it on video. And we just want to send a shout out to them. Congratulations to the future Mrs. Sierra Crudup.
And he was real smooth with it too. I got a chance to see the video.
Smooth.
He was real smooth with it too. So I a lot of times they hard on our young fellas, right? But he did it so smooth and caught her off guard. She couldn't do nothing but stand in her princess stand and just kind of look and watch. And them tears got to rolling. I say, okay, D, I see you, boy. Go ahead. He dropped down on both knees. It wasn't just one bending knee, on both knees. I say, okay, sir.
But you know what he did? And I can really appreciate this because Dr. Teresa Moore and, should I call him Minister Moore, would not have it no other way.
Yeah.
He actually went and he asked the parents for her hand.
No, not parents, not with an S. He went to her daddy. And
okay, right. He
daddy.
asked. Well, thank you for correcting me.
Which is the correct
right. Right.
Which is the correct right. They ain't even let me in the room. Like I ain't even know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? But he did it the right way.
Yeah. So shout out to my new nephew for doing it the right way, and he already know they already know the Moors don't play. They don't play.
Solid.
All the way.
all the way through.
So Dr. T, we putting the spotlight back on you. Well, you know, you didn't have the spotlight, so we're giving you the spotlight right now. So what the things that you do? Help me out, Mr. Trust the Process.
Because listen, I don't think because she doesn't like to really talk about a lot of the things that she do in the Pontiac community and throughout Michigan, right? And so let me go ahead and just kind of start some things that helps me as a community police officer in the city of Pontiac, right?
Go ahead.
So I'm working community police in Oakland County Sheriff's Office, and I come in contact with people who need mental services throughout Pontiac, right? They don't know how to reach out. They don't really know how when they're in crisis mode. So Dr. T, she is a licensed therapist, and she does free therapy in the community to help people get back on track. Yeah. And the significant part about that is there's people who get paid millions of dollars to come into our neighborhood that don't have the impact that a Dr. T has. And so that's why I celebrate you, and I want you to talk a little bit more about that, because that is not something I want to be taken lightly or somebody to feel like that it's a service that's needed, but it's coming from you. And how powerful it is to come from somebody in the community who's a licensed therapist that can speak to them about their situation, because not only is she a licensed therapist, she's been through a lot of the things that these people need.
Yeah.
Well, before you get the mic, let me just say this. Shout out to all the people. Do not call for free therapy. This is my service announcement right now. Please don't call Dr. T saying you want free therapy, because, therapy is, she does that from the bottom of the heart, top of the heart, and the middle of the heart. But this is not a free thing for you to say you can get some free therapy. Because remember, whatever you do, just like I sell cars for a living, right? That's how I get paid. I get free advice. So she's only gonna do that. She has her window for what she does. So let me just say, respect that. If you got insurance, use your insurance. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not even gonna get all dipping into her pocket, because I will.
Listen, Regina does look out for me, but most people don't know that I started a private practice in 2011. And I've been in the city of Pontiac, downtown Pontiac, since 2011. So I share our office space at 110 North Perry, which is inside the Earlene Baggett Hayes law office. So I have been there since 2011. Outside of that, I do contracting in Warren. So I do have a window where I see free clients who need therapy for families that are in crisis. But I see those people who cannot, afford therapy, may not have insurance. And my goal is to help someone to get to be healthy, happy, and whole. Having been in a situation where I too myself needed therapy, having gone through some traumatic experiences, I know what that looks like. So I wanted to be a catalyst or a vessel that the Lord used to help other people reach their highest potential. And so some of the things that I've done being in the city of Pontiac is I worked at Grace Centers of Hope. I gave free therapy to the women there. Also to Lighthouse, I did lifestyle stability classes there. I've held several group classes. So these were things that I did free for the city of Pontiac. And a lot of people don't know that about me because I kind of move in silence. Not because I want to, but I feel like the work that I do is so precious to me. And a lot of people, I don't want them to be in the spotlight. I want them to have that privacy. I want them to be able to come and leave whatever they need to leave in the room with me and know that it's safe there. So I know we're going to be talking about credit soon, but credibility to me means something, right? So I want to be a person that's credible to the people I serve. So that's just a little bit about me. I serve in a lot of different capacities, but the majority of my services really is to help someone else. And I'm not, like Regina said, the free therapy piece is there, but as any other business owner, if we don't work, we don't eat, right? So I just want to throw that out there.
I appreciate you just letting the listeners know that and understand that. And we always talk about how we serve, but it's in where we serve. But like you said, it's how we serve, right? Yeah. The pride that Regina shows when she's it's not just selling a car to her.
Yeah.
She didn't tag herself the Queen of Car Loans because it was something that was going to be a mantra. She actually walks people through saying, okay, listen, before you even get the car that you want, or before you even get to a point where you can afford a car, let's talk about your credit.
Yeah.
She took the necessary steps to go and say, okay, listen, let's get your credit online. Let's talk about your bills. Let's talk about some things. Matter of fact, and then took it a step further than that. Okay, you may have zero credit. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But how do you use your rent as credit? She goes and puts the things that she puts in her videos.
My videos.
We pay attention.
Y'all been watching my videos. Kudos.
It's free. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's free game. And she gives out free game. And it's just, all I'm saying is that even as a therapist and what you're doing in the city of Pontiac, that I want to keep putting that in the forefront of what both of you do. I think you're amazing women. You're amazing sisters. And that the things that you're doing in the community, people need to not necessarily always highlight it, but in the point of just saying that should be the model. We need models out here to how we serve, because right now our people are hurting, and because of lack of service, and because of nobody really pays attention. And so I'm going to always keep lifting that up. I'm going to always keep putting that in the forefront every time we get an opportunity to be in the same presence together. I travel the country, and I don't see women like yourselves exalted enough in the area of service. And people always seems to get a little intimidated. Guys, I need y'all to kind of step up a little bit and not be so intimidated by strong women who have decided to make a decision to serve in the same areas and places you have. And so I'm grateful. I learned a lot from it, and that's what being in a driver's seat. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that, being in a driver's seat and how that and what that means to me. So.
Let's kick right into that. What is being driver's seat? So when I think about what being the driver's seat means to me, I think about any position that you're in your life. It doesn't matter whether you're a school teacher, you a therapist, you politician, you a police officer, you are a stylist. Anything you do, you're an actress, you're actually in the driver's seat. You in control of whatever you want to do. And it's so open with that, because you have to be control of your life, anything you do. And then every day when you wake up, you should say to yourself, am I in the driver's seat? Because you think about anything you do. If you're a person, you control your own actions. If somebody says something to you that you don't like, and you figure that you got to react, then what? Then you're putting yourself in the driver's seat. Depends on what comes out your mouth. If you say the wrong thing, I'm gonna tell you what happened this morning. This morning I went to go get my hair done. Give a shout out to Mona Lisa. Mona International Hair Salon, also Tamika Reynolds, who Tamika's in, she is in New York, New Jersey, New York, but Mona Lisa allowed me to come over her house this morning to curl my hair, because we knew Channel 2 was coming into the studio this morning to film the second half of our commercial. So shout out to Stephanie, and shout out to the crew that are in here. I can't remember their names right now. Do you know their names, Dr. T?
My homegirls.
Ooh.
These are my homegirls back here.
We got to get their name. We got to come back with their names. We just,
names.
What's their name, Dr. T?
I'll tell you off air.
Okay, that's her way of pouting. So what happened, what I did this morning, I made a mistake this morning.
What you do?
So when I was, it was early, right? And then how you just go to someone's house and you just go there, right? You know where you're going. You don't think about the address. I know the address. So where Mona lives, I call her the Queen. That's where I got my name, the Queen of Car Loans. It's Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa McNear. Her husband is a Four Top. Shout out to Ronnie McNear, Four Tops, right? But I went to the wrong house. I went to the wrong door. I did. Yeah, I did. I went to the wrong door. And when I looked in the area and I walked in, I said, okay, that looked familiar. When I went to the door, we just talked, right? I saw a shadow in the kitchen. But the front door, I turned the knob, right? I went back and the kitchen don't look like that, because they had everything light was on, and I saw a shadow in the kitchen, and I could see inside the kitchen. I'm like, no, that kitchen ain't right. I quickly walked away from that door, And I got in the car and I said, Queen, where you at? She said, you should know how to get to my house by now. It's condos, right? And but it brought me back to the fact that, you remember the kid that went to the wrong door and the guy shot him?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? That could have been me. I just you have to be more careful. I had to bring that out because bringing it out is saying, hurry up and slow down. Slow down.
Gotcha.
Pay attention.
Yeah.
Because that could have been a disaster.
Yeah.
And I could be in hospital right now.
Yeah.
Because I actually turned the knob.
Yeah.
I did, like I'm coming in. Because you expected me, right? Yeah. But I'm at the wrong door.
Yeah.
Man, that being in the driver's seat is.
So you got to be in the driver's seat every time.
Every
So
day.
I slipped. That was a slip. That was a mistake. A huge mistake that could have cost me my life.
Yeah.
Or on my back.
But you was able to correct it.
Yes, I was. Thank
And
God.
see, that's
Yes.
the thing.
Yes,
And
the
see, that's
correction.
and see, being in the
Yes.
driver's seat to me is it's an attitude. Being in the driver's seat is an attitude. It is who you are. It is something that you are either ingrained with, you have learned to understand and make a decision around. And when I tell you that is, and you have to want to be there, right? And so that means you're going to have to be confident enough to understand that you can make decisions and humble enough to understand that even if you fail, I'm still in the driver's seat. I can still recover.
That's good.
Right.
Being in the driver's seat for me is a position. So when you're in the driver's seat, you can do drive, park, neutral. You can go low, you can go high. And so
Reverse.
to me, reverse. And so here's my thing. It's a position, and it's also a position of control, right? So to me, like you control your emotions. Emotions are energy in motion, right? So being able to control how you handle things, how you respond to things, how you move.
Yes.
So to me, being in the driver's seat is all about position, because how you move in that car, if you push the pedal to the metal, you're going fast. If you reverse it, you're going back. You can go neutral and don't go nowhere, just be in a neutral spot. You can go low, high, depending if you're in a 4-wheel drive or not. So, yeah, being in the driver's seat, position. What's your position?
Well, I love the way we each had our own segment, our own part of definition of being in the driver's seat. But we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back, and we're going to talking about buying a car with no credit.
Yeah.
Man.
We'll be right back.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Looking to buy or sell your home? Whether you're relocating to Michigan from another state or another country, moving across town, upgrading, or downsizing, Brenda D. Davis from Century 21 Town and Country Real Estate is your locally known home purchase expert. Buying or selling your home is a complex process. Let Brenda simplify it every step of the way. Brenda D. Davis, the realtor that moves you. Call 248-909-9711 and get moving on your new home purchase or sale today. That's 248-909-9711. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule the next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
We're back, and you're still listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. And this part of the show, we just want to dedicate a good 10 minutes to just talk about cars. Yes. And I always like to give a scenario, a story, something happened when I tell a story or when I give advice. But I had a customer that came in to see me on Friday, and she was 20, I think she was 21, no credit. And I couldn't help her. I couldn't put her in a vehicle. She had a 0 credit score. And sometimes when you go look to go buy a car, you're able to buy a car with no credit. But that means you're going to have to put some equity in it, some sweat equity. Sweat equity is money down payment, and have job time, stability. But the advice that I gave her, because she didn't have any credit, so let me just back up. You can buy a car with no credit, but you got to have down payment. You got to have stability. Stability is job time. But she had no credit. She had 6 months on the job. And I wrote down in like 3 minutes exactly what she needed to work on, right? Because she was a good friend daughter. And I gave her in 2 or 3 minutes the blueprint on what she could do. One was, I said, you need to establish a budget. You need to be able to tell your money
where to go.
Where to go. Not too many times we let our money control us. I went shopping yesterday. My money almost controlled me when I almost pulled that American Express card out. But I didn't. I returned 3 items that I bought, 3 pair of pants that I bought, and I spent $60 off my debit card instead of using my credit card, right? So that's telling my money where to go. But I told her, you need to create a budget. You need to think about how much money you make, not gross, which is gross is not what you take home, but net is what you take home. You need to know what you take home. You need to think about how much does it cost for your eating, your house, your utilities, right? To stay where you are. Your rent. She lives with family, so she doesn't pay any rent. You need to think about, what does it cost for you to eat every day? What do you spend every week? You don't have a car, so you need to be thinking about, okay, eventually I got to put gas into my budget, right? I got to put insurance into my budget. But most of all, you need to be thinking about how much you're going to save to get into that car. I always tell customers, you're looking to buy a new car, you need to have 20% down. Most customers that come see the Queen, they don't have 20% down because then they pay the higher payment. But when you have no credit, the more money you have down, the better your situation. So I told her, I said, can you save at least $500 a month? And I know that's a lot because how much do you have now? She said, I have a couple hundred. And I said, you have no bills. How do you just have $100? Because she doesn't know where her money's going. She's not telling her money where to go. Yeah. She doesn't know. Nobody had taught her. So I said, you need to think about saving. Can you save $500 a month? Let's start off slow. And I said, do you bank? She said, no, I get my money on a card from work. I put my head down. I said, so the worst thing you can do is work for someone and have them put money on a money card to give you. Or back in the day, it was called the rush card. Nowadays it's called Chime and it's called these other cards. Green Dot. They're getting their money 2 days faster. And it doesn't matter. They're like, I get my money 2 days faster. So I said, you need to go to the credit union. I gave her the credit union name. I gave her a couple. And no, I'm not going to share them on the air because they're not paying me to say their name. But I gave her a couple credit unions to go to, right? And I said, open up an account. Go in there and talk to someone about opening up an account. Get you a savings account and a checking account. Then I told her, I said, you could tell your job where you work how much money you want going in your savings account every month. And then that amount you want going in your checking account, maybe for your bills. But call that savings account. It could be for right now, because you're saving up to get a car, you call that your car account. Now, of course, you need to have another account with your other money and you saving with that you don't touch for emergency funds, right? That 6 months or that 3 months worth of money reserved in case something happens to you. But direct your money where to go. And so then I told her you need to talk to someone. You don't have no credit, but the credit unions are owned by the people for the people. They do more for you. And I also said, if they're going to say no to a credit card to you or a credit card or a personal loan, let's do a secure card. She said, well, Gina, what's a secure card? I'm like, you put your own money, you use your own money, and you give them a deposit. It could be $200, $300. But if you have 5, give them 5. And they'll take a portion of that. They may, most credit unions don't charge you a fee. When you actually usually when I say charge you a fee, they're not charging you $50 fee to actually because it's a credit union. Capital One's going to charge you $49 fee. Mm-hmm. But a credit union is not going to charge you a fee. Now, the credit union is going to come up with an interest rate that you're going to pay, but they're not going to charge you. So I just gave her those little pointers, and I gave it to her in 2 or 3 minutes. And she was just so happy. And I said, I'm going to follow up because I know your parents.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that's good. So you talking about no credit, and I want to kind of talk about credibility with being a therapist. And so you said with a person who has no credit, you said that they need to tell their money where to go. Well, as a therapist, I'm going to challenge my client to look in their emotional toolbox and tell their emotions where to go, because you have the ability to respond, negatively or positively. The second thing I picked up from you is you said establish a secure credit card, right?
Yes.
But me, establish a partnership with a therapist. Establish, if you are in need of therapy, establish a partnership with a therapist. Come in partnership with that therapist, and not only come in partnership, but also engage in a treatment plan that's going to be beneficial for you. Work the process. So that's good today. That establishes credibility with the therapist, and as a client, you're being credible to yourself and accountable to your therapist.
Man, and then credibility, like you said, to yourself. That's the first thing that came. How are you holding yourself accountable for your own life, right? We go through, I miss the trusted process, right? Because that is what got me through a lot of situations and enabled me to be in this position. How do you hold yourself accountable for your own actions?
True.
How do you build up that accountability?
How do you
build up that credit with yourself?
Yeah.
A lot of times, because we make decisions and we lack patience, we're not as consistent as we want to be. How do we get that? How do we get that around? Or how do we circle that around to who we are and building that credit back up into yourself and for forgiving yourself? How do you forgive yourself? There was a lot of times when you talked about having zero credit. A lot of times we have zero hope.
Oh, wow,
we
that's
get into situations where we get to something that's beat us down so bad, where we don't have the knowledge to get out of it or the understanding on how to get out of it. So we have to forgive ourselves. That is the first thing. And when you do that, you must forgive yourself and give yourself permission to forgive. And giving yourself permission to forgive is not asking somebody else to come in with, and saying, hey, I need you to forgive me. Sometimes you have to have give yourself permission to forgive yourself, right? So you're able to move on, build that credit, get your accountability back up so you can make those decisions, be able to open yourself to learn to listen to somebody like a Regina when you don't have zero credit, or Dr. T when you're saying about your therapy and building that relationship. So I appreciate you for bringing that up.
Well, you know what? I appreciate you all because we had a great show.
Amazing.
We did. We thank you to Makenzie Ford and her guests.
Yes. Miss Kim Hardiman came through, didn't she?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Shout out to Makenzie Lee. And also, let's give a shout out to Trust the Process. Good job today.
Oh, man, I'm glad to be back home.
Well,
no place like home.
We missed you. We held your spot. We gave you a shout out every week. Every week we gave you a shout out.
Y'all held it down. I appreciate y'all.
All right, thanks for listening to Be in the Driver's Seat. You tune in, same time, same place, on the airwaves, next Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Have a good week.
I'll be married next Sunday.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Be married.
Hi, Joe Longhammer from Longhammer Chevrolet here with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans. What kind of deals you have right now, Regina?
This tax season, I'll match your down payment up to $500 on any new or used vehicle.
So if a customer brings $250,
I'll make it $750.
if they bring $500,
I'll make it $1,000.
when you come in, just ask for Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Ha! It's good to be the Queen of Car Loans.
Yes, Joe knows.
To find me and this limited time deal, Google Regina, the Queen of Car Loans.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
Hi, I'm Dave Wilkie, Service Manager at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Since the 1950s, Joe Longhammer and his family have been honored to service your vehicles. With 112 years of combined service experience, we can take care of any concern you might have. From warranty work to routine oil changes, we treat your vehicle like our own. Call now to schedule the next service appointment at Joe Longhammer Chevrolet. Stop by anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Get your vehicle serviced right every time. Call 248-683-7100. That's 248-683-7100.
Chevrolet, find new roads.
You've been listening to Be in the Driver's Seat with Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and mental health expert, Dr. Teresa Moore.
Brought to you by Joe Longhammer Chevrolet of Waterford.
Be in the Driver's Seat, a Saturday morning mix of cars, credit, and wellness created just for you. From Regina, the Queen of Car Loans, and Dr. Teresa Moore, thank you for listening.